Welcome to the Bluegrass Breakdown Radio Show, where we are not fair, but we are balanced.
As always.
Gonna touch on some good stuff this week. For starters, we got some new Patino material that Tyler and I were just going back and forth about.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. I'm just curious as to
what the quote. Well, if you didn't see it earlier, I guess it was during Patino's talking a little bit about Syracuse and Pittsburgh leaving the Big East and heading to the ACC. He goes, "Don't run away with a girl after one date when you've been dating someone else for 3 or 4 years. You've been dating this woman for 30 years. Show a little respect."
And you have a problem with that because there's documentation of him being unfaithful to his wife.
There, 100%. It's gone to court, actually.
I don't dispute that he was unfaithful to his wife.
Mm-hmm.
But that really bothers you?
I mean, it doesn't bother me. It's just one of the bigger topics that's been around. I've been listening to other shows. There's been a lot of people talking about this.
What shows? Kentucky shows.
Name a Kentucky show around here.
Kentucky
Other
Sports
than
Radio.
the Bluegrass Breakdown Radio show right here.
The Underdogs are talking about it. I was listening.
Thank you, Matt.
What were they saying about it?
And I'm pretty sure the Underdogs are a afternoon Louisville show, if I was correct.
They're both ways.
Name them.
But they're more Louisville.
Yeah, definitely.
What were they saying, Matt?
What did they say?
They just brought it up because they knew that the Kentucky fans were going to make a big deal out of it.
And clearing it up again, I'm not having a breakdown over it. I just think it's the wrong text or something you shouldn't say being in the situation you put yourself in like a year ago. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay. We would like for everybody, get a chance, call in 502-265-5211, or you can text in. The text line is 265-6159. We got a great show tonight. We are going to have John the Freak Renshaw will be joining us in about 20 minutes. Get to maybe do a little rapid fire, talk about all things sports, not just inside our bubble of the state of Kentucky, but he definitely
maybe a little tipping. You never know. Tipping's always a good topic, around Kentucky. It seems to be these days, and getting into the holidays time, tipping's going to be a big part.
I got a couple things I'm gonna ask Renshaw about. So I mean, it should be a good segment.
Oh yeah, and I also want to bring out, if you haven't been to it yet, check it out. It's LouisvilleBigDeals.com. Ryan, Kelly, have you checked this out?
Oh, it's a great website. You can get half off on basically anything in the Louisville area. You can even go on a trip to Mexico for half off. You can do about anything that you want living in the Louisville area. Here we got it on the site up now.
We got some golf, Covered Bridge, and Champions Point, both Fuzzy Zoller golf courses. They're great. I've played them. You got, let's see, what's that? The Comedy Caravan. You got a 30 for 60. That's a steal. Penn Station, everybody's favorite, one of my favorites, and of course Buffalo Wild Wings. All the local top restaurants, top deals.
It really doesn't make sense to attend any of these establishments without first going to LouisvilleBigDeals.com, and these are some huge names. So I mean, don't be a fool. Go to LouisvilleBigDeals.com.
Yeah, for sure. And don't be a fool. Call us and talk. Give us a little UK, a little UofL. We had the Big Blue Madness last Friday. We had red-white scrimmage last Friday. Again, the number is 265-5211. And I kind of like to go ahead and jump on the Big Blue Madness and the red-white scrimmage. First, me and Matt were at Big Blue Madness, and we did a little video and showing our skills. And Matt got a great video. It's gone viral across Yahoo Sports has now linked it, and Yahoo. It's on the front page. It's the Matthew Mitchell dance of his introduction. I think we have the video for everybody to see, but Kelly, did you see this?
I did.
I know you were watching Big Blue Madness, not the red-white.
No, I did see the video. I didn't actually watch the whole Big Blue Madness, but it was good. Some good dance moves there. You gotta love it. Anybody who can even try to pull off an MJ impersonation, you gotta respect. And he didn't do a bad job at it.
Yep, here we go.
Here we go.
definitely some good stuff there. Can't hurt the basketball recruiting for the women.
Oh no, that's 2 years in a row. He's came out and did the Dougie last year, and he did it again this year, and then he pulled in John Wall, a fan favorite. The guy knows how to work a crowd, and he was pushing to get the fans out to Memorial, and obviously women's doesn't attract as many fans as the men's, and in majority of schools, maybe not UConn or Tennessee, but yeah, he was pushing it. He got the crowd to boo Duke a few times, so he knows what he was doing. He put on a good show. Speaking
of the Big Blue Madness and the Louisville scrimmage, what did you think about the whole what did you take away from the Big Blue Madness and the Kentucky soon-to-be
Kentucky effect?
Team?
The Kentucky effect is what I took back. It's Big Blue Madness is not particularly what a lot of people think of as a practice, a scrimmage like a red white or a blue white kind of thing. It's a show, it's an event, it's a recruiting tool which seems to work. We had a couple guys there, that seemed to love it from their comments that they've had. Shabazz Muhammad said, it was more than what he expected, and Archie Goodwin, who is a commitment already, he enjoyed it, and then the Harris twins. But yeah, it's more of a showman's ship. Calipari got to talk to the fans. He got to tell the fans what they wanted to hear, preseason. That's what I take out of Big Blue Madness. It's not a practice.
Yeah, it was definitely a very different animal than Louisville's actual scrimmage.
Yeah,
but I mean, I guess Darius Miller was nailing a bunch of threes.
That's nice.
5 for 5.
Is that right?
Field. Yep.
He was. Yeah.
I mean, what type of substantive things did you take from it?
I took that Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is a huge. He looks almost as tall as Anthony Davis when he was standing by him during the introduction. I know he's not. He's big, but what I took from it was
he's more of a 4 than a 3. Definitely.
It seemed like that. I mean, he's going to be a great 3. He's huge. He's going to be a matchup problem. That's another thing. I think Kentucky, but looking at him for the first time this season, they're going to be a matchup problem for everybody, maybe except North Carolina. That's the only team out there that could possibly match up size for size. Darius Miller, yeah, he hit 5 threes. It's a fake scrimmage, not even a scrimmage like I said, but it looked smooth this year. It's usually herky-jerky, but it looked like it was coming out fluent, which is always nice.
I think with all that athleticism and young athleticism, whether or not they will be able to hit shots, I mean, what type of shooting team do you think they'll be?
I think they're going to be a great shooting team, possibly as good or better than last year. And last year was, I think they were one of the best 3-point shooting teams in Kentucky history.
Last year,
but this year they got Anthony Davis, Kyle Wiltshire, 2 big guys who can.
Yeah, you're right. Wiltshire is obviously.
He won the McDonald's All-American 3-point shot. Yeah, it's a contest, but I mean, it shows he can shoot at 6'9", 6'10". Then you got Doron Lamb, one of the best shooters in the country. Obviously, he did that last year. He's going to do it again. Darius Miller, like I said, if he shoots it fluently like he did, he could. It's going to be hard team to stop because they have a lot of options and they can go inside and out. Marcus Teague, I don't see him being an offensive factor around the perimeter, but he's going to be slashing in the paint, and dishing out to all these other guys. That's what I kind of took from day one. Now, the other half of the thing, you got Louisville and the red-white scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you've checked that out. What did you take? I hear Gorgie Dang had a great game. He might have fouled out twice, but he still had a good game.
He had a good game. Still not really polished offensively from what I saw. Very mechanical type of offensive movements. You can see he has tons of potential still, but I don't know that offensively he'll actually be living up to that potential this year. The guy that I really was impressed with was, Bluegrass breakdown legend Zach Price.
Now
I was very impressed with him. Everybody's been bagging him. Everybody's been saying he's underrated. He's can't believe he was top 100. Most overrated big man they'd seen in a long time. If you watch the game, I mean, him and Gorky were running up and down the court and competing. I mean, he is a competitor who's not in the best condition, but he's a big physical body who's coordinated, and he's in the right place at the right times, and he looks like he'll be a very adequate backup center, in my opinion.
And it's too bad no Louisville fans got to see it because there was only.
I was about to say the exact same thing, Matt. I was sitting in around 24,000 Big Blue fans. Me and Matt were there. and I get a text message from John Hancock, our blogger extraordinaire, who is not here tonight. He said there's only about 5,000 or 6,000 people at this game, and I'm trying to figure out where's Card Nation at? Where's little brother?
I was talking to Matt about this. I didn't make it to the red white scrimmage because I had other things to do. Louisville's a very different fan base than Kentucky. To deny that would be foolish. If all things are equal and you could choose one or the other, would I choose to have Kentucky's Big Blue Madness or Louisville's what they had? I would probably choose to have Kentucky's. I don't think it's that big of a deal in the big scheme of things, although it does help build up hype in recruiting, which is valuable. But Louisville fans bring it for basketball, for regular season games.
Yeah, they do. I'm not.
They don't camp out about practices. That's just not who they are. They don't show up to football games on time. I mean, that's just not who they are.
They're too busy drinking in the parking lot, and I totally understand that. I mean, I'm being serious. I've been there. I've been tailgating down at Louisville.
You don't have to. You don't have to drink in the parking lot at Louisville games.
I know you don't, but I'm saying everybody's tailgating, getting primed. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's a different fan base, and they bring it for. I mean, Louisville is not a college town. Lexington is.
I disagree.
What do you disagree in that?
Where's the NBA team around here? Where's the NFL team? The whole state is a college state.
Yeah, if they're not a college town, what are they? A high school?
Yeah, what are they? Trinity? I guess they kind of.
I guess
are
from
right
that
now.
sense of the word, they are. I'm talking.
This whole state
Lexington
is a Kentucky.
Exists
Kentucky
for
is a
University
state.
of Kentucky. Louisville has many other things that go on.
Louisville is bridged with, they do have fight with Churchill Downs, which is huge. I will agree with you on that. But
I'm not
Louisville
saying
is
just
a college
Churchill
town.
Downs.
I mean, what
There are
else?
companies headquartered in Louisville that are not. I mean, there are in Lexington also, but Louisville's a bigger city than Lexington.
Nobody's buying tickets to go look at these corporations. They're paying the tickets to watch Louisville play basketball,
I'm
play
talking
football.
about
Louisville's a college town.
Louisville has.
I'll back Louisville up for the first time in my life. Louisville's a college town.
I'm talking about where's University of Georgia? Is it Athens?
Athens.
Yeah.
That's a college town.
That's because there's nothing in Athens. But
That's what I mean.
Lexington,
Lexington's
though,
much closer to that than what Louisville is.
Lexington is 3 times bigger than Athens, I bet.
I'm not talking about it. That's what I mean. I mean, Memphis, for example, is more similar to Louisville. It's a relatively medium-sized, not huge, but a pretty good-sized city.
What would you call
that has a university in it?
Now, Pittsburgh,
people don't go away to school to go to Louisville like they go away to school to go to Duke or Georgia or a lot of schools like that. People live in Louisville and they go to school there because maybe they grew up there. Things like that. It's not the magnet type of atmosphere that a college town is. Louisville's a college city. It's not a college town.
Okay, I'll agree with you on that.
It's
you
definitely
just
not a
threw me
professional.
off there at the beginning of saying it wasn't a college town because it totally is. But yeah,
I'd say it's a college city.
That's fine. I'll take that. Guess we'll get to a quick break here. We are going to come back with the Freak, the host of the John Renshaw, the host of the Freak Show on 1450 AM from 3 to 5 p.m. I don't know, a lot of you all probably heard him back a couple years ago, I believe it was. He was on the radio around in Louisville area. He's nationally known. He's a hell of a host and one of my favorite. I know Matt listens to him every day. You've caught him a few times. He's great. Who's his co-host? Is it Trevor Kelsey Bacon?
Trevor most of the times, but Rob Jones.
Jones.
Yeah, Rob a lot of the times.
We had Bacon on last week. It was always fun to have Bacon on. But yeah, let's get John Renshaw after a break.
And yeah, I was just going to say, Renshaw's been around for many years through Chicago and everywhere across the country.
Nationally syndicated 3 times.
Pretty sure he was just.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he had his own show 3 times. So
that's great. He's in Missouri right now, I believe. So yeah,
he is.
John Renshaw will be on with us after the break. This is a Bluegrass Breakdown Radio Show.
Bluegrass Breakdown Radio Show. We got nationally syndicated 3 times John Renshaw on the line with us. And I can't help, before we jump into some actual sports-related material here. Yeah. Over the break, Tyler and I were talking about how great LouisvilleBigDeals.com really is. It's just the greatest site I've ever seen. And kind of threw a little hypothetical at him. If you were, and I'll go ahead and ask Renshaw, if you were to be stuck on an island and you had the choice, you could either have your favorite porn site or you could have LouisvilleBigDeals.com. What would you choose?
Okay, so you mean by having LouisvilleBigDeals.com, you mean I would be able to order those things that are up there. I'd be able to get my $50 of cluckers, or I'd be able to get my tacos. I wouldn't be able to just look at the site, right?
Yeah, you would actually be able to enjoy all the beautiful rewards that come along with Louisville.
Yeah, there's no doubt that porn would finish second for sure. I mean, there's too many good things on LouisvilleBigDeals.com. I mean, there's all kinds of food. There's trips to Mexico. There's Maker's Mark. I mean, I've got 43 years of imagination for porn. So I'll take the chicken wings and the Ahoy fish tacos and the cigars, man. That's a no-brainer.
Not often that porn takes a back seat.
Not often. I don't like it. I don't like to be a part of it. I would rather, but I have to be honest and smart about this thing. Come on. And I love desert island questions. I mean, I think I could sit around with friends all night long and just bring up different topics and go off on. I love that kind of stuff. That's what I live for. That's a good question, bro.
Certainly doesn't feel natural to, go away from the porn, but yeah, I'd have to agree.
You certainly aren't going away from it. You've mentioned it 4 times, but I'm a huge fan, and the thing is, you really have to have 2 computers, because if you're going to be, especially with you guys being such busy, hungry, active bloggers, you certainly can never afford for your site to go down, and I don't think you can ever truly 100% trust a porn site. Now, maybe rich guys like you have like just thousands of DVDs, and you just pop them in there and you're good to go. But lazy, poor people like me have a couple trusted sites, but I believe that all of them eventually slow your computer down some way or another. So it's almost like you have to have 2 computers.
You're totally right. Kelly actually came in and was like, should I get my laptop out of my car? And then he thought about it for a second and he was like, I can't. I've downloaded way too much porn recently. And he didn't want it to pop up in front of me and me start calling him out.
My work laptop, too.
I don't even know how to download it. I don't even know what that means. I just know this 1 or 2 sites, and that's all I know. But I even mentioned it on the air maybe 3 weeks ago or whatever. It's I've been non-interested, which is sad.
It
I haven't
happens.
gone to a porn site in a long, long time, a month.
They're getting super dirty these days.
They're getting what?
They're getting really dirty these days. They're kind of throwing me off.
That's their job. That's their job, man,
I know.
and they're doing it well.
Sometimes you do get in a little over your head and you stumble upon something.
Literally.
Maybe you hadn't exactly bargained.
The categories are interesting. Whatever mood you're in that day.
Yeah, exactly.
Only a show like this, or maybe Renshaw's show, where you can talk about porn for 15 minutes.
Nonetheless, we'll get to the sports content. Sorry to throw you off there, Renshaw.
Again, we do have John Renshaw here. He's the host of The Freak Show on 1450 AM from 3 to 5, right, John?
Correct. 3 to 5 p.m., 1450, and then 1450, thesportsbuzz.com.
Yep, it's a great show. Everybody needs to check that out. Kelly, you want to go ahead and hop in a little topic here? A little baseball?
Sure. What do you think about the World Series? Saw that you are going for the Rangers. What do you think about who do you pick to win?
Well, I know it's weak, but I really don't have a pick because I think it's pretty much dead even. I do happen to live here in St. Louis, so I know a great deal about their team, and it is one of the most amazing comebacks I've ever seen. They were 10.5 games out of the wild card on August 25th. I mean, that is absolutely insane. The season ended October 3rd, so to make 10.5 games up, and of course it all happened on that one magical night where those 4 games all happened in 1 hour. The Cardinals' weakness throughout the regular season was their bullpen. I mean, it was so bad, it was laughable. But they found a closer in this guy named Jason Mott, and he comes in and shuts things down now. On July 27th, they traded for people like Arthur Rhodes, almost 50 years old, Rafael Furcal, Jeff Rapinski from Toronto. They picked up like 7 players on the trade deadline, all relative no names. I mean, Furcal and Arthur Rhodes are names, and they've all fit in. And then you talk about they have their road record. The Cardinals' road record is, if you look at it, the stats, and I'm not a baseball guy, I'm not a stat guy, but do a little homework on it. They play so well on the road, and then they match up well against the Rangers as far as that whole righty-lefty thing, which is another thing I don't like about baseball. But the Cardinals have just thick right-handed bats, and the Cardinals throw 3, and the Rangers throw 3 lefty starters. So if the two teams play the way they're playing right now, it's hard to go against the Cardinals but I don't think the Cardinals can keep this up. They've been too hot for too long, or they are going to keep it up, and they're a team of destiny. They are incredibly confident. I mean, just think of the confidence that you have of you came back 10.5 games. You beat the Phillies with the best pitching staff in modern day baseball. The Brewers, your arch nemesis, who won the division, you pretty much easily take care of them, and everybody's clicking. They got these role players, but I love freaking Texas. I love Napoli. I love Nelson Cruz. I love Josh Hamilton. I love Michael Young, who didn't do anything until the last game when they won like 17-2 there in the first inning. So I think we're in for a back and forth 7-game series. And as a neutral fan, and I'm not a neutral fan because I hate the St. Louis Cardinals. They're the Yankees of the National League. They're very arrogant. All across town, all you hear is, going for World Series number 11, and it is pretty amazing. 11 World Series, 18 pennants, but it's 11 and 11. That's all they're saying around here. But they're very arrogant. They think that they are the Yankees of the National League, and I guess they are. I mean, them and the Dodgers.
I hate them. I've always hated them. I'm a Reds fan, so I've been, we made the playoffs last year for the first time since I believe like 1995. So that was great. And then of course the Cardinals come, win the wild card, which I did say. I will say again, I hate the Cardinals, but I picked them to win the World Series before they made the playoffs because they were, like you said, they were hot coming in. They made the playoffs. And now that they've already knocked out the best record in baseball, Phillies, now they knocked off their rival, the Brewers. I just don't think they're going to slow up, and they will take it in 6.
The way they're going right now, if the Cardinals play the way they are playing, I do think that they will win, and I agree with you. And I do think that it takes a man to put aside his hatred for a team and admit that the team that he hates is good, whether it's a Kentucky fan admitting that Louisville is good or vice versa. It certainly happens. It happens a lot more the other way around. It's the Louisville fan that has to man up and admit that Kentucky is good or better. I mean, I can't remember the last time that Louisville was better than Kentucky, and obviously it wasn't that long ago, the Billy Gillispie days. However, let's just pray for a 7. The magic of this whole time right now is like will be this weekend. On Saturday, you'll have college football all day, and then a World frickin' Series game. And on Sunday, you'll have NFL all day, and then a World Series game. And then in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, they'll be in Maui playing basketball at 9 a.m. on a Monday morning. It's just around the corner, and so it's a great time of year, man.
Yes, it is. I got to say, I mean, I really also am a Reds fan and dislike the Cardinals, but being a Reds and Bengals fan, embracing that the Steelers are awesome and I hate them, and that the Cardinals are awesome and I hate them, is just part of life. You kind of have to do it.
Part of life. It's part of life. I hate the Steelers too as a Dolphin fan. The Dolphins are so far removed from what they were for the first 33 years of my life, which was a dominant member of the NFL and a dominant member of the AFC, one of the most feared, respected, proud franchises until about 12 years ago. And
Dan Marino retired.
We competed with the Steelers for that kind of respect. We were never the Steelers, but we were right behind them. Now we're nowhere near them. I respect the Steelers more than any team in sports.
I hate to admit it, but I agree with you. And my favorite part of the current Bengals, I told my brother, is they kind of remind me of the Steelers. And that just kills me to say it.
Hey, it's a compliment.
Yeah, that they're playing defense, hard-nosed defense, and running the ball.
How do they remind you? I mean, I don't watch the Bengals that closely, so when I think Steelers, I think ferociously physical defense, don't beat yourself, clutch plays, and that's about it. Smart. Obviously, the word physical is, it's overused, but that's what the Steelers are is physical, run the ball, don't make mistakes. I mean, but these Steelers of this year don't appear to be.
No, they're different.
Don't appear to be too vintage. Yeah,
they don't have an offensive line like they normally do. They're relying on, their talented Mike Wallace receiver.
He's great.
He is. But
I drafted the wrong one. Last year I drafted Mike Wallace, and he was just on the verge of breaking out. This year, for some reason, someone put an Antonio Brown whisper in my ear, and I went with him, and he's really done nothing. And I thought I was set, man, with Steve Smith, Brandon Lloyd, and Antonio Brown, Jamal Charles, Darren Sproles.
Ooh, Jamal.
And Tom Brady and Jason Witten. I just played in a PPR league, and Charles went down, and I could never get three of my wide receivers to show up on the same day. And now now my season is just about over. I'm losing by 1 point twice, 2 weeks in a row. And with the Dolphins out and my fantasy football team out, I don't even know what to live for, to be honest. I mean, thank God college basketball is coming in, and my team is very disrespected.
Maryland, right?
We're not expected to make the tournament. We got picked 9th today in the conference. No. I'm happy with all of that because I think that we have a chance to surprise.
Now, what do you think of the, obviously Gary Williams is retired. What do you think of the new coach? I know you're a big-time Terrapin fan. I remember listening, to you back in the day and listening to the Rapid Fire, everybody giving you shit, show in and show out about Maryland. But I've always respected Maryland. I've always thought they were a top program because of Gary Williams. And when I saw that he did retire, it was kind of like, oh, here comes the beginning of the top-tier older coaches, leaving the game.
Right, well, definitely top-tier older coach leaving the game. It was a surprise to me. He is old. He just married a nice young freshie, so I think he wants to go out and enjoy 10 years of vacation time with her instead of playing. I love Turgeon. I've been a Turgeon guy for a long time. I live with a girl from Kansas, so I watched him coach at Wichita State, watched him turn them into a Sweet 16 team, watched him replace Gillespie and turn Texas A&M back into a Sweet 16 team. I love everything about him, and I'm very excited about this year's team. We have an incredible amount of talented guards. We're just real weak down low, but we've got the bodies. They're just unproven, very unproven. So it's this big, huge waiting game. But we're nowhere. We have nowhere near the talent that you guys have. I mean, nowhere near, obviously, since we're not even picked to go to the tournament and you're picked to go to the finals.
Well, Renshaw, if it's all right, I'm gonna ask you a question about.
Now, remember, Kelly here's the Louisville fan, so every time you shoot Louisville, you shoot him in the heart a little bit. I'm the diehard Kentucky fan, along with Matt.
I'll shoot you both, man. Like The Walking Dead, the end of The Walking Dead on Sunday night. A little boy was there, and
that was
the bullet came and it hit the deer and it hit the boy too. But
it's messed up.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's talk some hoop, man.
Okay, this is just a question because you bring a little bit more of a national perspective to things for me. One of the things I've been wondering is, what do you think about the value? Obviously, football and all this conference realignment, football is what matters. My question to you is, do you think the fact that Louisville has some very strong non-revenue sports, is that what sets them apart from Boise State? Because Boise State, to me, has a stronger football program, but they're not garnering any attention from the Big 12. What do you think of that?
Yeah, what's the nutshell of your question? Because someone dialed in there in the middle.
Oh, no problem at all.
Football makes things go.
Well, then why isn't Boise State going to the Big 12 over Louisville? Does Louisville, the fact that Louisville has strong non-revenue sports, does that really matter? I mean, why is Louisville getting attention for possibly going to the Big 12 over Boise State is my question.
Well, maybe geographics, maybe the Big 12 says, hey, we've got enough football history. Let's bring in a team that has, 6 Final Fours in Louisville.
Okay.
Geographics, I think, would be the whole expansion thing is stupid. It's disgusting.
You hate it.
It's demoralizing. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
It's a broken puzzle on an acid trip. It's impossible to clarify, justify, ratify, and I want nothing to do with it. But what I'm shocked about is how Louisville has not been swallowed up by the Big 12. That's who I thought would be perfect for them to go to. But when you look at Louisville's geographics, and the same thing would be true for Kentucky, but obviously Kentucky's not going anywhere, Louisville is right there. If they're keeping things geographically consistent, Louisville can go 3 or 4 different ways. It would not be absurd for them to be in the ACC, SEC, Big 12, Big East, Big 10. All of it, because they're Appalachia. They're right there. It's part East Coast, just 4 hours from St. Louis, exactly. It's a 4-hour drive, and St. Louis is the capital of the freaking Big 12. Nashville, 4 hours, you're in the SEC. So instead of fighting to stay in the Big East, if I were Louisville, I'd be fighting to get out of the Big East and in the Big 12 or the Big 10. But, there's a different rumor every day. I've become so bothered by it. It's like, look, when it's final, tell me the frickin' news. If it's another stupid rumor, if you want to go do that all day long, then go ahead. You do it. That's cool. Talk to me when it's final.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. And not to keep you too long, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. But just to throw this out there real quick, I know you have no idea that your buddy Matt Jones, everybody's buddy Matt Jones. He did one night at a restaurant. Freak, he didn't tip me when he was with a party at Stack's Roadhouse.
Ooh.
He did not leave a tip along with his table. I was pissed.
Well, I'll give him a tip. He's a freaking asshole. But I waited tables all my life, and if he was at it with a big party and you didn't, you have the option to lay down that, usually a party bigger rate, you can include the tip in there, or you can
the gratuity,
trust the group is going to tip you. Exactly. And you go ahead and you trust the group. You don't lay down that automatic thing on there, and they do that to you. It's just cold.
Now we'll give him the benefit.
I just can't wait to see the Kentucky basketball team play. I mean, as much as I hate the coach, I hate him worse than he's pretty much tied with everyone across the board, from Glenn Beck to Nancy Grace to Joe Buck to anyone, Chris Berman, anyone I can think about. I can't think of anyone I hate more than John Calipari. But I don't hate his players. And I do hate a large percentage of the Kentucky fan base. A large percentage of it. There's no question. They make me sick. They don't believe that anybody else exists. They don't believe that anyone else deserves to exist. But this Anthony Davis cat, and he's the only one that I really caught a glimpse at, because I can't wait. I'm glad that I haven't seen Michael Kidd-Gilchrist or Marcus Teague play yet, because I feel like everybody else has already seen them. I've still got 2 Christmas presents to open, and I really haven't seen Anthony Davis. But Anthony Davis's body and growth spurt, which means obviously he still has guard skills. I just can't wait to see him play. Put it that way. I'm very excited. I enjoy rooting against Kentucky. It makes the rest of the SEC exciting, especially those Auburns and LSU's, Ole Miss. Put me to sleep. At least Vandy and Florida and Tennessee have been good of late. But it's almost as fun to root against a team as it is to root for your team, because there's many times where your team stinks. So I root against Kentucky every single game. But I enjoy the talent they have. I can't believe Terrence Jones came back. I didn't think he was. I didn't think he was ready for the NBA, but I didn't think he had the head to stay in. But I'll never forget, man. Typical Calipari when he chose Washington, and then 5 minutes later his phone rings.
Yep.
Holy cow, man! I want, and excuse the pun, but I really want to know what. And here's what I would have said if I was Calipari, dude. You're never going to be on TV. You just made a huge mistake.
That's what he
We're
said.
on TV every single freaking night. No one is ever going to see you in Washington. I've got 5 players going to the NBA every year. You were using your heart, not your head. Get down here. You're going to be on ESPN 2 nights a week. Maybe on Washington they'll see you once a year. But that's what I would have said. I don't know what he said. He probably just said the money's in the mail.
Come on now. Come on.
No. That doesn't. Never in the history of Kentucky.
Yeah, you're exactly. Never, Eddie Sutton.
Well,
yeah, never.
But it's going to be fun, man. I grew up a Carolina hater. That's my main arch rival.
December 3rd.
And I grew up it's not only regular season, but everyone's projecting them to meet in the finals. But we all know that's a crapshoot. But
there's no doubt that this is a great college basketball season. A lot of great teams.
Yeah, I'm very unstudied on it, to be very honest. But yes, Syracuse is supposed to be awesome. Obviously, Duke is supposed to be awesome. Florida is very, very good this year, supposedly. As is, Vanderbilt, Pitt, and Georgetown are supposed to be very good. UCLA is quickly on the way back. I love Sean Miller at Arizona. I think Memphis is a team on the rise. Obviously, Connecticut is a very, very, very dangerous team. A sleeper team that I have to play in Puerto Rico, and I say Maryland, is Alabama.
Really?
Because Anthony Grant is such a great coach. Mark Godfrey just wasted that team. They were a joke under him, and NC State will be a joke under him too. But watch out for Alabama.
JaMychal Green, he's a beast.
JaMychal Green is a beast, and there's so many small schools now. But whatever, it's the last great sport that is still alive with a little bit of royalty and tradition and genuine love left. I mean, the AAU dirt definitely tarnishes it, but it's beautiful. It's the perfect sport. 20 minutes, and the rivalries are just so great. I love it so much more than any other sport. Nothing even comes close. And of course, the way you guys love Kentucky and Louisville is the way I love the ACC in Maryland, and I'll be on with you guys anytime you want, man. It's going to be a great year.
It's going to be an awesome year. We really, really thank you coming on, John. It was fun having you on.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, again, John
you
Renshaw
got it, man.
with
you got it anytime, fellas.
All right, man. Well, again, that's John Renshaw, host of Freak Show at 1450 a.m. Catch him 3 to 5 weekdays. This is a Bluegrass Breakdown radio show. We'll be right back. Back here with the Bluegrass Breakdown radio show. Just had a hell of a segment with John Renshaw, host of the Freak Show on 1450 a.m. That was one of my favorite interviews we've had so far. I know we've had a couple big names, Tony Stallings, Winston Bennett, Derek Abney, but that was one of my funner.
No, he's as knowledgeable about everything as they come. I mean, that's what he does. That's what he's always done. He knows his stuff, no question about it.
Yeah, again, and you can catch him weekdays from 3 to 5 on 1450, the Sports Buzz. It's great radio. Dan Patrick in the morning and a couple other good guys around the local area and nationally. But I think we'll go ahead and hit on some local talk here. Basketball season's back. It's the best time in the Bluegrass, I know, for UK and UofL fans, especially with the way the football season's been going. You got UK ranked, and CBS released some rankings preseason for basketball. You got UK at number 2 and UofL 8.
Radio
top
show.
10 teams. That's basically what I expected to see out of all the preseason rankings.
Yeah, sounds about right. I mean,
Louisville, they've got a lot of experience.
Siva coming back, one of the top point guards in the country. I don't see why they wouldn't be a top 10 team. And then obviously Kentucky has the top freshmen out there with good returners in Jones and Lamb. I can't wait for the game on New Year's Eve.
Me neither. I mean, Louisville is going to have to light it up from downtown or something to win. but it could happen. So I mean, I can't wait either. I mean, can't imagine much more anticipation for this rivalry game. I don't think. I mean, every year since Cal's been here, it's been insanely off the charts. But I mean, the bickering between the two coaches, just the magnifying glass that's on every little part of both basketball programs is just unheard of.
Yeah, it's totally, Kentucky's got 3 number 1 recruiting classes in a row. Louisville's got one of the top recruiting classes from last year, Blackshear, and Bohannon coming in. Blackshear's kind of on the edge right now of, is he going to be okay with his injury? I think he will be, right?
You mean his injury?
His injury to grades and eligibility.
Well, I mean, my thing on that is, until he actually does not play for Louisville, I'm not going to worry about it. That happens. I mean, didn't that happen last year with Liggins? It happened with John Wall. That happens all the time. People in Louisville aren't acting
this
like
far
it.
Liggins
missed a couple games a couple years ago.
Yeah, he did.
So what do you mean this far
but that was also announced months ago. Before, I mean, we're 2 weeks away from the season, like exhibition games, and you still don't know.
John Wall had the exact same thing happen to him. It dragged up right to the season.
Yeah, but his is more the line of he was eligible. It was just how many games he was going to miss. Everybody knew he was okay to play, though. They don't even know if this kid is eligible yet.
He's in class. It's a very fishy situation. He's at school.
I don't know how you could be in college classes when you haven't even finished high school yet.
He has finished high school. He's in college classes.
I know.
Information is on the NCAA in Indianapolis somewhere, which I'm going to Indianapolis tomorrow.
They pulled a tubby. They lost it in the drawer, didn't they?
I don't think it's lost. I think it's just them taking their time, and I think he'll be just fine.
I agree.
Everything I've heard is that Patino is very confident he'll be able to play.
Now, Patino had some quotes earlier that kind of concerned me with Blackshear. He was talking about Russ Smith being kind of looking promising and as a solid backup at the 2-guard position where Blackshear would be. Blackshear
may be the starter at the 2-guard position.
So that leaves Siva.
That would make Chris Smith a backup at the shooting guard.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, if Blackshear started.
Yeah, but that's what threw me off though, was why talk about Russ Smith being your backup if Chris Smith's your backup?
Everyone on the rosters who's not starting as a backup, you can have more than one backup shooting guard.
Okay, well,
Russ Smith is a shooting guard.
It's sketchy, is all I'm saying.
He's been comparing him to Tony Delk. He's definitely coming on to more of a scorer. Obviously, he's not that level of a scorer, but I mean, he's a point guard. I'm sorry, he's a shooting guard. Russ Smith is not so much of a point guard. He could fill in, play some point guard here and there, but he's not a point guard.
Now, Russ Smith kind of reminds me of Kentucky's Stacey Poole. He came into UofL, and just like Poole came into Kentucky, kind of highly touted, not as the other recruits that Kentucky may have had and Louisville may have had, but now it's their sophomore years, and it's time for them to show a little bit of what they have. They both were held back last year, so I kind of want to see both of these kids play. I mean, it should be interesting to see what they have, what they can pull for your team during the game time situations. I saw Stacey Poole hit 1-3 last year during the clutch time, and he didn't see the court after.
What about Stacey Poole's little brother? Has been
Solomon Poole
visited Louisville, I think.
I think so. I think he's also visited Kentucky. Supposedly, he's a big. He loves Cal, and he also likes Patino, so he could go either way. Obviously, he's got a little pull with Stacey Poole already there, but yeah,
it would be weird.
He's one of the top
and
players.
once the dominance takes effect on
the
December
Kentucky
31st.
effect.
The dominance?
The Kentucky effect.
Because we know they're all going to, UK is going to win by 15.
Oh, yeah, speaking of that, I think there's a bet between the producer Matt over here and Kelly. What is this bet? Well, 15 points?
15 point. Matt says that Kentucky's going to win by 15 or more. If they do that, I owe Matt $50.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's right.
Is it 100?
It's 50.
50.
And if Louisville wins by 14 or less, it's you get the money, right?
Yep.
You get the 50. So that's a pretty good bet.
If Louisville loses by 14, if Kentucky wins by 14,
I got you.
I get 50. Yep.
I got you. So that's not a bad bet. It's kind of absurd. I'm sure somebody out there is probably thinking Matt's a little crazy for throwing that bet out there. Call in and give Matt the business. 265-5211 is the call-in line, or if you're too scared to call in, you can shoot us a text at 265-6159. They're always fun to get some text messages. We had one last week. I like totals. That was pretty funny. You know, you can always like on totals, dude.
The only texts that we've got today were critical of Louisville's offensive coordinator, which is a topic that just really chaps my ass. I mean,
why does it chap your ass?
I don't know. Louisville has the worst offensive line I've ever encountered in the
Kentucky. Kentucky. They got Louisville beat
for worst offensive line.
Worst offensive line.
It rivals.
It's right there. It's second to last.
Talent-wise, there's no question, and experience-wise, there's no question that Kentucky has leaps and bounds a more proven offensive line.
Yeah, they've all been hurt,
I mean, they've got Stuart Hines. I mean, they've got.
Yes, they do have the more.
They got the
experience.
I think they had a couple all-SEC players last year that are returning.
Yeah, well, they're shit.
Louisville's offensive line is horrible. And anytime I hear anyone out there be critical of an NFL offensive play calling or college football offensive play calling, all I can think about in my head is, really, you think that you, the fan, the guy sitting at home on the couch, know more about calling plays than the guy who gets paid $300,000 a year to call plays.
Sometimes.
Are you kidding me?
Sometimes.
You think that?
I don't think I
You
know.
honestly think that's rational?
No, it's not at all.
It's not. So anybody who thinks that, please call in 265-5211 and tell me how that's rational.
I'm calling in.
And how you're not an idiot to think that.
I'm
this
calling
guy's
in right
paid
now.
$300,000 a year to get to call plays.
Sanford?
You watched football your whole life. And you maybe even played middle school or high school football. So you think you know how to call plays better than Sanford or Sean Watson?
Hey,
are you kidding me?
A lot of these people played years and years and years in Madden and NCAA. Their play calling is to a T.
I honestly think that's a lot of the thought process.
No, it really is.
I've played a lot of Madden. I feel like sometimes I understand that you should run a screen play.
Run double post and you're good down the center every time, right?
Screen plays work all the time.
Yeah, the Z screen, boom, you nail it, try it out. You're going to score.
It's just foolish. Anytime someone criticizes an offensive coordinator, my first thought is, you're an idiot.
It seems like that sometimes, though, because you can actually look at the game and say, well, I can
like
tell what they're going to do right here because the way they're lining it up.
Yeah, exactly, Matt. Like Kentucky, they've had some horrible play calling. It's consistency. That's what makes the fan base feel like they could do better because they see it game in and game out, these same plays in this same situations, 3rd and 4. They're going to pitch it outside and get stuffed for 3, lost to 3. They're going to run first down right up the gut every time. It's the consistency of the shitty play calls.
Do you think that if they were to call different plays, they would do better?
You got to mix it up. You have to mix it up to be successful.
I don't think that you're as qualified as the paid offensive coordinator to say that.
I'm more qualified than Mike Sanford, who just got fired.
Mike Sanford played quarterback for USC, and he's been he was the head coach of a Division I college football program.
Obviously, they're way more qualified than me. But my opinion is the consistency of the play calls is what gets us, the fans, the media, riled up about Joker, about Mike Sanford when he was doing the plays for Louisville. It's rough to see when you turn on Florida, you turn on USC, one of the top programs. Do you see them run the same play every first down, every second down? No, they're mixing it up something. They're running a trick fake punt. They're doing things.
You know how easy it is to mix things up when you're Bobby Petrino and you've ran it 2 draws in a row and they've worked for 6-yard gains, and then you can throw a little mix it up. I mean, when you have some positive momentum going, that helps you be recognized as a creative mastermind, guru, play caller. It's completely different when you just get the quarterback gets the ball and just gets there's just people in his face immediately, or a running back gets the ball and everything just collapses.
I agree, but the times, I mean, that's not every play. They're not getting 60 sacks a game. They're not forcing 60 hurries. They're getting in there, maybe once, maybe twice a drive. It's a long drive, but when they're not getting in there, it's still the consistent play calls that that are coming. Like Louisville, what does Will Stein run? Or not Will Stein's not playing anymore for some odd reason. Well, what does Louisville like to run on 3rd down? I bet you could call it. It's the same play. It's a good play. I wish Kentucky would do it. They always seem to go short, but then they go deep, and it's always open. Have you noticed that? They did it against Kentucky.
It seems that way.
I believe it was North Carolina, and I also think it was against Marshall in a crucial play, but then obviously they lost at the end. They do that a lot.
My whole thing is if they call what the fans are saying and they fake short and then they throw a bomb to Michael E. Harris or any of their Andrell Smith, any of their very talented receivers. The one time they do that, a defensive end sneaks around the other side and grabs the ball out of Teddy Bridgewater's hand. Who's getting fired? The offensive coordinator. Who is the one who's responsible for it? The offensive coordinator. So the offensive coordinators are not just making calls just to be predictable and they're not just, and at the same time, they should not be trying to please the fans by any stretch. They should be trying to keep their job and to do well for their resume, and that is what they're concerned with.
Who is Louisville's new offensive coordinator? Do you know his name?
Sean Watson.
Sean Watson. He's
previously the quarterbacks coach. He was most recently the offensive coordinator for Nebraska.
Yeah, you're right.
He was ran out of town at Nebraska because the fans thought that he was an idiot.
Well, look at Nebraska during the 90s. They were a power. They were one of the best programs around the country. Then they dropped off the map. You can't put that on an offensive coordinator. I agree, but they dropped off a lot, and that's their whole scheme of things that was going on after their national championship run. But we got just a few minutes here. I know that's a pretty heated conversation.
Well, I feel very passionate about it. I would love for someone to call in and tell me they know how to call a college football offense better than. I don't care.
Mike Sanford?
You give me the Vance Bedford, the defensive coordinator. He knows how to call an offensive plays better than the fans do.
I agree.
Gotta be kidding.
He's been around football
otherwise.
His whole life. He's in football. I would hope so. I don't think I can coach a football game. I know I can't better than any coach in football, and majority of the fan knows they can't. But it's just a consistency. Like again, I don't even want to get into it, but it's tired of losing.
We can just move on. Nobody likes to lose. I don't like when Louisville looks like they suck.
Talk quick little basketball real quick. Just
all right.
Quick. We got UK has 5. See, like we already said, the CBS they're releasing all their polls. They did their top 100 players. You got Louisville lands Peyton Siva on the list. I believe, was he a top 50? I believe he was. He's second team, so he's got to be top, in that top 50 nation.
Second
top
team
30,
All Big East. Yeah.
So he's second team All Big East. Then you got Kentucky had 5 players on CBS top 100 with the 3 freshmen, Kid Gilchrist, Davis, and Teague. Then they also had Dorn Lamb and Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis was the highest, actually, number 7. So that's pretty nice. You got 6 guys in the area, all in that top 100.
College basketball is just so deep this year.
I'm excited for the NBA not returning because they've brought the NBA to Kentucky on both fronts. You get Terrence Williams. He's coming back for this Big Blue Villain game.
Smarto Samuels is working on his degree.
And actually, I do believe there's an all-star game. Matt, we saw Anthony Wireman over Friday night. I believe they set up a all-star game between Louisville and Morehead State. No, seriously. Like, some of those guys. I think Terrence Williams is going to possibly try to show up if the price is right.
Who would Morehead State have?
Kenneth Faried, that's all they need.
Kenneth Faried.
That's all they would need.
No, Devontae Smith.
He's good, yeah.
The guy who hit the 3.
No, you're thinking. I know who you're talking about. You're thinking of Smith Rivera, I do believe, the recruit.
No, the guy who
you might be right.
I think his name may be Devontae Smith.
Yeah,
similar to Devontae Smith Rivera.
We'll let you know if we hear anything else about that. But
I can't think of anyone else. Popeye Jones played for Morehead, I think, years ago.
Popeye Jones.
I think you can check it out. But I can't think of anybody who played basketball for Morehead, really.
Yeah, it's tough. They've had a lot of good people, though. Obviously, they've done.
Check out Popeye.
No, I'm not checking out Popeye. I'm going to check out this Big Blue All-Star versus UK Villains game that's going to be ran on October 24th at Rupp Arena. The official rosters came out on Friday. Obviously, there's a lot of big-time Kentucky names on the list. John Wall, Jody Meeks, Tayshaun Prince. Then you got Nazi Muhammad. Just name a few of the Kentucky guys. But then you look at the Villains team, and it's loaded as well. You got Florida, Corey Brewer from Florida, Kenneth Faried from Morehead State, who we were just speaking about, Rudy Gay from UConn, Eric Gordon up north in Indiana, Tyler Hansborough, one of the most hated villains from North Carolina. You can look at Terrence Williams, like I said, bringing the NBA back to Louisville. You got Terrence Williams joining them. Shelvin Mack, Butler, he's from Lexington area. Zach Randolph from Michigan State, one of the top NBA defenders out there. And you also got Rudy Gay, I do believe I already mentioned him. So that's... And Nolan Smith from Duke, who's obviously a hater.
They should have Ben Hansbrough on there.
Yeah, because that game when he did the little dinosaur run after
he seemed to be pretty hated also.
He dropped 19 points in the first half and didn't score in the second half. So Ben is not on the shit list anymore because he got worked. But I'm excited to see Ennis Cantor during this game. He gets to come play in front of Rupp Arena for the first time since the little scrimmage of Big Blue Madness last season. That's going to be pretty special, just for his standpoint, being screwed by Pete Thamel last year at NCAA.
Speaking of Pete Thamel, Pete Thamel has announced that by the end of the weekend, Missouri will be in the SEC.
That was bound to happen, right? Which kind of opens up the door for Louisville, like Renshaw was talking about, having to leave the Big East, open a door right into the Big 12, which that's where I've always thought they're going to end up for anyways.
It would be the best. I mean, I would like the SEC, but
it's not going to happen. There's too many vetoes going on in the SEC. They would just get their ass kicked
in football,
and that's not just Louisville.
That wouldn't be as fun.
What, getting beaten in football? You're going to get your ass beaten in Big 12 in football anyway.
Not as bad though.
Yeah, probably not as bad, but
I mean, how many teams does the SEC have? That'll just kick the shit out of them every year.
Everything.
Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Arkansas,
South Carolina,
Ole
Miss or Mississippi State will split each year. I mean, it's stupid.
Kentucky,
teams. We're used to it here.
Big 12 doesn't have that many, so
yeah, I guess you're right. Well, anything else you got?
Not off.
I know Collins Uklu, Kentucky defensive guy. He was cleared to play for this weekend.
Oh,
but I know we didn't talk about any football. Obviously, it's not the hottest topic, but UK does play Jacksonville State Saturday. Should be an intense game. They're a top 10 NCAA D1A, whatever that is, team. I think they're possibly a 9-point favorite last time I checked. Supposedly it's a no line, but I wouldn't be surprised if game day if they do grab it.
If they lose this game, they're not winning another game the rest of the year.
I've already said that.
Yeah,
and who's Louisville got?
Rutgers.
Louisville has Rutgers at home?
Yep.
I do believe they got Rutgers at home, so Rutgers going to chop a little wood here in the Ville and take the Cards down, I do believe.
So we'll see. Who knows? Rutgers is saying it's the biggest game for them since they beat Louisville in 2000, whatever it was.
So I guess we'll find out this weekend. Two boring but big games, I guess, for both teams to get back to positive 500 record.
More importantly, basketball season's a couple weeks away.
Basketball season's a couple weeks away. So once again, we'll be talking a lot of basketball in the next couple months. So definitely be joining in. We'll be doing our moving back to our normal day on Thursday night. We had a little conflict for tomorrow, so we'd like to thank John Renshaw again for coming on. He was great. Great host. So check him out, Monday through Friday, 1450. And catch us every Thursday night, Bluegrass Breakdown Radio Show. Thank you very much, Kelly and Matt.
Yeah, we're going to take him out on the hanging of the Final Four banner just so Kelly can watch it. All right, guys, we appreciate it. Again, Bluegrass Breakdown Radio Show. We'll see you next week.